Hi friends, this is Sai and back again on my rooftop. This is the east part of my garden. Last time, if you remember, on the Facebook live I was saying that I'll be talking more about that. So let me talk more about this. Now, we are always preferring to have a garden on the east side, especially in a climate like ours, where even in winters, this is winters now, 8:30 in the morning, we can still see how bright the sun is. So it is chilly during the night, but come 6:37 and as soon as the sun breaks out, it is going to get very hot. Now, if it is like this now in winters, just imagine how it would be in summers. So east side of the garden, because it gets the sunlight only during the early morning or till about 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, and after that, after 12, the sun goes to the other side. Your east side of the garden is usually the best garden that you can have. So if you have a house and if you have a choice, always prefer to have a garden on the east side. If you are getting a house constructed, then make sure that you have a garden on the east side. You don't want your garden, the worst spot to have a garden would be on the west side, because when the sun comes towards the west, right, already it's been about 6 to 7 hours of heat. So there's a lot of ambient heat, and on top of that, if you have more heat coming and direct sunlight from the west side, your garden is going to suffer. Your plants are not going to like it, because most of these plants that we grow here, although they can tolerate a bit of heat, but really you don't want them out in the sun for more than 4 to 5 hours. Direct sun, that's what I mean to say, because even human beings can't be out there with this kind of heat through and through. So keep that in mind, that east side garden is preferred. The other thing that you should be thinking of, and we talk about this extensively in our gardening classes and definitely in permaculture, that is get hold of the sun path in your area. For example, I am in Hyderabad, I'll be having a different sun path. The sun travels. So although in school we are taught that sun rises from the east and sets in the west, well, that happens only twice for us, because not that it doesn't rise from the east, but it is not perfect east, and similarly it does not always set in the west. It's perfect west only 2 times, perfect east only 2 times, right? So keep that in mind. And if you have an east side garden, even with the different sun path, sun changing its path over the course of different months, your east side garden is going to get sunlight. So if you have your garden on the north, or if you have your garden south side, you might find, based on your area, that you get sunlight, direct sunlight for your plants only for a few months, right? And in some cases you might find that you get no direct sunlight. Now this is another important point that we need to understand when we are talking of sunlight, and that is, your plants do require direct sunlight. Okay, it could be slightly shaded, it could be dappled as we call it in permaculture, but it requires the sun coming and hitting it, right? Why I'm telling this point repeatedly is that you might notice that in your balcony it is, or in your veranda, it might be well lit, but there might be no direct sunlight. Now without direct sun coming there, plants, the green plants that I have here, will not be able to generate, will not be able to do photosynthesis. They won't be able to generate their energy. So you do require the direct sunlight. So whether you keep your garden on the north or south, just keep in mind the sun path, because you might suddenly find that for about 3 to 4 months, or maybe for the complete year, you don't get any direct sunlight. I am sitting on the east side. Now you can see that the sun is, this area would be more lit, right? Here you can see that I have got gourds. This is a bitter gourd. I have got spinach. I have got a bit of dill there, and a few more things just sprayed all over. What a lot of people are asking me, they repeatedly ask me, is what about these containers? Okay, now I have tried with lots and lots of different types of containers. You can go back and check my videos that I have used plastic containers, I've used plastic bags, grow bags as they call them, and I have used and I still use syntax tanks, broken syntax tank. And this idea of getting a wooden box actually was inspired by what I saw on DJ's terrace. So DJ and my friend Upendra, they got together a couple of years back and they thought that wooden containers would be really nice. And once I saw the operational simplicity, I really thought that I should be getting this. Now, there is a lot of discussion on which type of containers people should be having, and there are a lot of factors that you should be considering when thinking of a container, right? Usually people directly jump to the point that what is the cost, right? But it's not just the cost that we are looking at, rather we are also looking at the longevity. But more than that, I find that it is how a gardener works, how a gardener operates, that really starts giving you ideas as to what type of containers should be. So whenever people ask me that, okay, should I get these wooden containers or should I get plastic containers or whatever, I say first start gardening. Okay, you will understand the sweet spot, you will understand which containers work for you and which containers work for the type of plants that you want to grow. So I generally grow a lot of corn here. You would have seen my videos of growing corn here, and that was still when I was using plastic grow bags. Later on, what happened was that the last summer, 2016 summer, I was having lots and lots of creepers growing here. Now these containers, what they do is that because they are, the dimension of these is 2 cross 2 cross 2, that is 2 feet, 2 feet and 2 feet. So they can hold quite a bit of potting mix, and that is one thing that you need to be careful of. If they can hold a lot of potting mix, that means a lot of weight on your slab, so be careful about that. Okay, get in touch with the who got your rooftop constructed, so that you know, I mean your house constructed, and make sure that you have enough strength for your slab so that these weights do not actually damage your rooftop. So I got these containers because the intention was not just to grow things like spinach. Okay, the intention is to grow things which are deep rooted, which can really utilize the amount of potting mix that I'm giving this. Now if you are from a farming background, okay, having 2 feet depth of good soil is almost unimaginable. I mean, it's a dream that you can have 2 feet of good soil. So when I have got this much amount of good soil with me, I really want to grow things like tomatoes, chilies and aubergines, and really want them to be spreading all over, right? So in some of these containers, you might be seeing that, okay, Sai, you are telling me all these things, but you are still growing spinach. Well, if you check back a couple of my videos, I grew things here as a standby. Right, I was in the process of getting my seedlings, preparing my seedlings, and therefore I just put something here so that it grows. Now in between this, you might be seeing the spinach. It is almost a feet tall, and in between this I have planted tomatoes, I have planted chilies. So slowly when I start harvesting this, you will be seeing them. Similarly, very difficult for you to see it probably, but you have bitter gourd and you have these tomatoes, right? So everything is densely stacked, so to say. And this bitter gourd vine, I don't know, it is probably getting near the end of its cycle, so probably would have to take this out, but already have a tomato occupying that, and a few more things would be planted here, but more on that later. So I have these things densely stacked, and that's the reason that I have these types of containers. Now you might want to have just one plant in a pot. That works, that really works. We've done it, lots of gardeners are doing it. I want to grow more, and what I found is that the bigger the container, usually the management is a bit different. For example, I can water it thoroughly and maybe not even check back for the next 3 days because there is enough moisture based on the kind of potting mix that I have. That is again a very important point. Not all potting mixes are equal, so to say. Some have, everything has its own advantages and disadvantages, but by far what we have found is that coco peat really works well. It is a superb constituent of any potting mix, and that along with compost is doing a brilliant work for all our gardens. So these wooden containers are really working well. What has been done is that we have put a plastic liner inside, that is to protect the wooden box from actually getting too much exposed to the moisture which is there. Now we've got a really good potting mix, and a good potting mix means that it has a lot of beneficial microorganisms, and you know what good microorganisms do? They are going to eat a lot. I mean, any microorganism is going to eat a lot, but the kind of thing that we have here, I mean, the potting mix is really inundated, so to say, flooded with beneficial microorganisms, and they are going to have a feast on this wood also. Now, I don't want my potting mix to actually eat away the container, and that's why we have given a lining for it inside. If you get good quality wooden containers, you would have the option of actually painting it. Now the kind of ones that I have, they absorb a lot of paint and it is still not visible. So we did try a bit here. You can see it is slightly white. So we did try to have some kind of a varnish or a paint going on, but it simply didn't do the job. So I just left it at that. My experience, based on what I have seen on DJ's Rooftop, I feel that these are going to be good enough for next 4 to 5 years. Might require a bit of maintenance, but 4 to 5 years is quite a bit of time. And even after that, because I have not really treated it with anything, this wood is slowly going to become mulch, or maybe just get mixed with the potting mix. So as you can see, just giving you a small aerial look at it, you can see that there are tomatoes out there. You can see amaranth, that red amaranth, which is pretty dominant. So just whenever you are looking at plants, look at the extent to which it can grow, and just imagine how many leaves it is giving, it has given, and it will be giving. So it is turning out to be a nice little bush there and there, and that is just the red amaranth. I also have green amaranth growing there. Tomatoes, as I was telling you, tomato here, tomatoes there, bitter gourds, 3 or 4 vines of that, and ash gourds. Now I don't think it's ash gourd, it's a type of a gourd, but I have planted a couple of them inside. The reason is, harvesting anything at this level is difficult even for a person of my height. Right, it is really a tough thing to actually go inside and harvest spinach from there. Just giving you a small demo of how difficult it could be. And what also needs to be thought of is that I'm not the only person who's coming and harvesting. Sometimes my mother is coming, sometimes my father, sometimes my friends, and I don't want them to actually bend too much to harvest something which is easy enough to do. Right, so there I have planted my gourds, and the gourds don't want to go up, right? You can see them, they are developing, but they want to spread like this. I want them to go up. So sometimes you also need to train your vines. I mean, not just the dragon, you also need to train your vines so that you can actually take them up. Now one of the things that I won't call it regret, but still, not being coming to the garden always, what has happened is that I have not been able to really train them to go up. So when they are going towards the side, as you can see, they are trying to go up, right? There is nothing wrong with that, because I can really take it in my stride, because now that they are going from the sides to the up, because there is I'm not allowing them to go down, I have got this whole space well lit, and that is, I'm getting direct sunlight. So at one point of time, the intention was that it goes up and covers this whole thing, and therefore, because there would be no direct sunlight, this area would have become slightly unproductive, so to say. I would have to change the type of crops that I grow here, but because I am getting a lot of sunlight, I am really not worried. Let them go to the sides and climb up, and maybe I can just divert them towards the path. For example, there is a path, I don't mind having it here. Similarly, there is another path there. So I'm going to get better of it when it goes slightly up. Now, I went to DJ's farm, as I was telling you, got these are turmeric. Okay, probably should have planted it by this point of time, but just didn't get a chance to plant all of them. Have planted a couple of them there. So continuing with the previous discussion, I can plant a few things there which I am really not worried about harvesting immediately. It is going to be a harvest once every 3 or 4 months. I don't have any issues. But if it is a regular harvest of something like greens, I would not want to put it there. But there is a small catch. I might grow things like coriander, I might grow things like garlic, and really not worry about the harvest, because I'm not growing them for the harvest. I'm growing them for performing services of pest protection or pest repellent. So keep that in mind, that really you can think about gardening whichever way it suits you, and you can grow crops based on whether you want to harvest them or they are for the better utilization of the space, or maybe performing some other services on your garden. So that is one thing that you should remember. The other thing is that if you just look at this is dill, and I have got a lot of dill there. This also used to have a lot of coriander, probably a bit difficult for you to see now, but this coriander is going to seed. So I have got these seeds. Similarly, the dill, soya kura or soya sappa as they call it, the one which is there has already gone to seed. Now the reason why I have this, I really don't relish it, although the smell is nice. I really don't like eating this. So why am I growing this? I am growing this because it attracts lots of beneficial insects, and I have seen lots of honeybees and other stuff coming for this, and that should make you understand that if you are growing things, even like ornamentals, make sure that they are doing some or the other function in your garden. This is a small primer on how a garden should be functional. I mean, how each element in a garden should be doing a lot of functions. Now, for example, it is not just that dill has, is attracting lots of beneficial insects. As I said, it has a beautiful smell. Now, I can just take this out, go to a few of the places where I feel that there are pests, and just drop this. And what this does is that it confuses the pests. So there are lots of functions that each of your plants could do. For example, marigold, right? It is very good to have marigold. Definitely not just for the flower, but because of what the plant does. For example, the roots of marigold actually deter nematodes from coming. So you have these beautiful relationships between different plants, and that is the essence of companion planting. Now, there's a lot of talk on companion planting, but just keep one thing in mind, that there are very few plants which don't go well with each other. Now, you might have plants which are neutral to each other. You might have plants which are, let's say, get along really well. For example, one of the combinations that they say is having tomatoes and carrots because of how they help each other. Like that, there are some companion planting which are very popular on internet, on Facebook. But what you need to keep in mind is that there are very few combinations which are antagonistic to each other, and you really don't need to worry too much about what plant I should be keeping with what. Grow things together. It will generally be beneficial. Even if it is not beneficial, it is definitely not problematic. So for example, fennel, that is sauf, that is what they give you after you eat food in restaurants and stuff. So that, although it gives a very good smell, very good fragrance, however, that is allelopathic. So if you grow it along with some other plant, it usually would not want the other plant to survive, so to say. So it is going to actually impede the growth of the plant, and in some cases gardeners report that even the production of the fruits comes down. So I have not really done any kind of a study on that, but because people say that it is allelopathic, I make it a point to grow, but I grow it separately in a container. I don't mix it with other things because why to take a chance? So I am in front of my tomato patch. Usually people have a couple of tomatoes. I have lots and lots of tomatoes growing here, lots of different types of tomatoes growing here, and I have further went ahead and put a few more seedlings there. Not visible right now, but once these go off, expecting that to come out. Anyways, now I have cherry tomatoes as well as I have another type of tomato growing here, the name of which I know, that is Kodad tomato. Kodad is a place in Telangana, and probably it has got its name from that and it's local to there. But on our rooftop gardens, we have found it to be really productive. So if you get seeds of that, do go ahead and plant that. If I do a bit of seed saving, definitely I'll share it across to you people. So if you just look at this, a few basics, have put stakes so that the tomato really does not fall over, but tomatoes still end up falling over. So got to take a bit of management here, got to do a bit of management here, but just look at the height at which it is going. So right now, just based on my extremely accurate guess, I think the height of the cherry tomatoes is somewhere close to 4 feet, and no signs of stopping because it is giving fruits, giving flowers, but still wants to go up. So this is what is happening on the east side of my garden. Got a bit of planting to do, have got seedlings of chilies and other stuff, the turmeric that I was talking of, so would be planting that, and slowly expecting a good harvest from the god. We'll be talking more about that as the season proceeds, but keep your garden rocking. If you are constructing a new house, make sure that you have a garden on the east. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.